Let's shoot the shit. Yeah, 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 yeah. Come on, let's shoot the shit. Let's pontificate, verbally masturbate. Come on, come on, come on, let's shoot the shit. Yeah, 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 yeah. It's time to shoot the shit. Come on, come on, come on, come on, come on, motherfucker, let's shoot the shit.
Hello, welcome to another FearLessQA. As usual, you can tweet in questions to @FearLessQA. We're live right now, so if you have any questions, just go to the Twitter account and tweet us your questions. We got a bunch, so we'll go to those along the way. With me, I've got Hunter Lovins. And
howdy.
How are you?
Excellent. You?
I'm doing really well, and I'm excited to have you on the show.
Thank you.
And I've got your friend and my friend, Catherine Greener,
Hi.
on the show as well. Hunter is, she's a co-author of 9 books. Is that correct?
12, actually.
12?
Who's counting?
I got an old
And
bio.
2 more on the
I got
way.
an old bio. Natural Capitalism is one of them. I haven't read the other 11. I'm trying to do that math in my head. I'm like 9. An amazing book, almost a decade old now.
A decade
right?
old.
And the first time we met, I suggested to you that it read very contemporary, and still is something that everyone should pick up, and is quite a Bible for this area that we're going to talk about today.
Thank you.
And so, I'm always curious what's on your mind now. If this was what was on your mind 10 years ago.
Climate Capitalism, which is the book that I am working on writing right now, which is all of the opportunities that individuals, businesses, communities, countries can capture by solving the climate crisis profitably.
It's a huge industry too, right?
It is a
Alternative
huge
energy.
and growing. Between the carbon markets and clean technology, it's going to be well over $1 trillion market.
And yeah, I had read this morning, I guess, that it was a $50 billion market currently. Is that an old number? Is it 51 billion? Yeah.
It depends on who's counting,
And
but
how
it's
you
big.
count. It's big.
It's big.
It's
and
big.
growing.
And as big as it is, we have in the U.S. Out of the 10 largest solar companies, I think 2 are U.S. based, and
we invented this darn technology, and we are allowing everyone else in the world to seize it and grow it.
We only have one of the largest wind technology
and we
companies.
invented, other than the Dutch,
we didn't, yeah.
but modern wind turbines were invented in the United States. And then we just let the technology go overseas.
Yeah.
Daft.
Just not a good plan. Well, I just want to introduce Catherine really quick, and then we'll get back to all this. Catherine actually was in the advertising business for a while as the head of sustainability solutions for Saatchi.
For Saatchi and Saatchi,
Saatchi
yes.
and Saatchi.
It was a really, really interesting time in my career. It was an opportunity to use a right brain, being a right-brained engineer,
Yeah.
and to really see the power of creativity and what we need in this space. So it was a great learning experience, and I think I walked away really understanding the power of a story.
And you guys work together. Hunter was your first boss, or one of your bosses?
Well, actually, she was
your
my
most
first boss.
important mentor.
Exactly, in Colorado. she dragged me here.
Yeah. And did you
I
hire?
liberated you from Detroit.
Did you
Come
hire
on.
her because her last name was Greener, and you're like, this is perfect?
No, I hired her because she's a big brain and a lot of fun to work with.
Thank you.
So you just lucked into the name. I mean, the name is pretty amazing. And
Her
you've got,
company.
You've got a company
Greener
now.
Solutions.
Greener Solutions.
Clear, yeah.
What better
Clear
name in
green.
this
I know.
space?
A lot of times that happens, though, where people's names will seemingly guide them. I don't think that it's really true, but when it happens, it's just
It's a nice
so
intersection.
fortunate. Yeah.
My friends called it in Detroit the greening of greener.
Yeah. Well, you come branded.
Yeah.
Which is nice. Yeah. It's very difficult to forget when someone's got a name that matches what they do. Right? You only have to hear it
branded.
Yeah,
once.
she's her own brand.
You are your own brand. Well, and you've taken steps to make sure that you are even more so your own brand by calling it Greener. It would be weird if you would have called your company something like Sustainable Solutions, right? Your name's Greener, for God's sake.
Though someday I do want to slope side sustainability.
What does that
Slope
mean?
side sustainability. Well, she's a great skier.
Out.
Oh, nice.
That's a good name.
Slope side, yeah.
Trademark it, girl.
So why do you think we're allowing all this this huge opportunity to flow offshore?
Stupidity. Also, a dedication to sunset technologies that a lot of people think we've got to hang on to. The oil industry, the coal industry, the nuclear industry. You know, we've put more money into nuclear power, your and my tax dollars, than we put into the Vietnam War and the space program combined for a technology that now delivers about as much energy as wood, and we're proposing to put more of your and my tax dollars into it.
So you're not in favor of nuclear energy?
I'm in favor of good economics. Let's take the cheapest solutions first,
Yeah.
like efficiency. We could cut half, 3/4 of the energy that we're now using at a cost of a couple of cents per kilowatt hour. Just running an existing coal plant costs you 4 to 5 cents per kilowatt hour, or 6 or 7 now, because coal prices are going up. Wind in good sites is 4 to 6 cents, which is why you're now seeing utility commissions canceling proposed coal plants and building wind farms instead. And in Southern California Edison, the utility, built a 250 megawatt solar power plant on roofs spread around the county at a price point, $875 million. That is eerily close to the $800 million that it would have cost to build a coal plant up in Montana that was in fact canceled. We're getting very near what's called grid parity, where the cost of solar crosses the cost of coal.
Yeah.
And yet, people want to put money into clean coal.
Yeah.
Well, coal's not clean. It's dirty and dangerous. There's just no two ways around it. But we ought to start with efficiency, the cheapest, then move on to the available renewables. And if we do this, we will unleash, as John Doerr says, the mother of all markets. This is the next market for the world. We have China actually now ordering from 2 separate American companies 2 gigawatt. A gigawatt is roughly a nuclear-sized chunk of electricity. Renewables plants, one concentrating solar and one solar photovoltaic, solar electric. And that means that Americans are making money, except we're sending the jobs to China.
Right.
We ought to be putting solar on our own roofs, as I've done to my house.
Do you think this is that the switch to cleaner energy, it's fairly inevitable, right? I mean,
it's absolutely inevitable because of the economics.
We'd have to make new dinosaurs and then put them in the earth and then let them rot for millions of years. It's just, that's not going to happen.
It's just kind of a slow boil, yeah.
Yeah, it takes too long. So it's inevitable, and so from that point of view, you have to be optimistic, I guess. But how long it takes and who wins, I think, is really those are the two questions. Like, do things get too dirty along the way? Because I don't think we're going to, I personally don't think we're going to kill ourselves. I think we just may make the world really miserable. And it may not be a great place to live.
But we're doing that now.
Right, that's what we're sort of doing. I blog about the Chinese and this idea of this energy race, and trying to encourage people to look at it that way.
We're in an energy race for sure.
Yeah.
And by the way, a competitiveness race. If you go back and look at the waves of innovation throughout history, from the first industrial revolution when we used water power to make iron and textiles, and then steam power to make steel and trains, it was the United Kingdom, England, Britain, that did that, and Britain ruled the world. The British Navy ruled the waves.
Absolutely.
And then we discovered oil in Pennsylvania, and Henry Ford built a car, and Thomas Edison built a light bulb. And then petrochemicals and the space race. And then the latest wave of innovation gave us all these little things that have 3,000 songs on them. I mean, I really didn't know I needed one until I needed one.
Yeah, but you do need it.
But what's next?
Energy.
What is the next wave of innovation?
You won't be a superpower.
And who will run it?
You won't be a superpower without power. I think that's what the Chinese have it's what they realize, and they also have the political will to make that happen right now. I think in this country, we're having
There
a
you go.
hard time with the political will, right?
There you go.
And to some degree, I think it's because the political will is bought and paid for already by older forms of energy.
By the sunset technologies.
Yeah. And so what do people need to do? Because I think there's people need to write their congressman, and they need to do those sorts of things. But at the same time, that guy may already be in somebody's pocket.
Vote with your dollars.
I was going to say,
So,
there's other
okay.
forms of activism.
Yeah.
And in terms of activism, every time that we make a decision in our daily lives, there's an opportunity for this type of activism. So what you decide to buy, what you decide to do, what you decide to tell your friends. I mean, those are all forms of activism.
And that makes you a very different kind of consumer, though. That's not a very passive consumer. I think we've been somewhat passive in our consumption, right?
So elaborate a little bit more when you mean by passive
Not
consumption.
educated.
Okay.
I think that
Conscious,
It's
maybe.
difficult,
Yeah.
not conscious, and it's also been difficult to find the answer between two products. Which one is more sustainable? Which one is? And this is a perfect segue to some of the work that you were doing with Walmart. Maybe you could explain a
How
little
big
bit.
is your industry?
Advertising?
Yeah.
Hell, I don't know.
Billions.
I would say, well,
And
yeah,
then some?
Yeah, I think we do $1 billion of it, so it must be billions.
It's
There's other
gotta
agencies.
be.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I think your industry has had a role in making consumers passive. And I think
Yeah.
your industry has the opportunity. You are the biggest educational industry in the world.
True.
You have
Absolutely
the
true.
opportunity to unleash the power of conscious consumers.
Yeah.
And beginning at an early
But we
age.
also are
Yeah.
remoras on the underbelly of our clients. I mean, like it is an industry that rides on other industry, and
But
and
if those
scavenges for-
industries stay stuck, they will die.
we
You
can- we
have
can
the
lead. We can
opportunity
lead.
to help them innovate and capture this new space.
Yeah.
But I also
think-
think,
I
that
think
there's
that's
another
true.
opportunity for the advertising industry. And we talked about the power of telling a story.
Can you talk about Walmart though? What you did with Walmart?
Sure. I can talk let me talk about Walmart's overall sustainability, and then
Yeah.
I think some of the work, because I think it's really important to put it into context. Back around 2001, 2002, as Walmart started to look at their drivers of change and looking at the opportunities that were starting to face them as well, the opportunity to respond to marketplace or to lead the marketplace. They started to think about how sustainability and this green movement will not only impact their business, but also the new Walmart customer.
Walmart also
And they had-
lost 30% of share value in there.
And there was a little bit of negative press
They-
that was starting to happen.
But they had to be very, very progressive about their thinking, because I've heard a lot of clients say, our customers, middle America, they don't care about this space, they don't care about sustainability. Walmart's customer is absolutely middle America. It's very middle American values. Yet they were projecting a future where if they didn't address this, they were going to run into trouble.
I think Catherine and I were both in the room at Walmart when their marketing department came in and reported the results of their then most recent survey, which was that their demographic overwhelmingly wanted sustainable products, but they wanted them to be affordable.
She also talked about
Isn't that
this
weird?
word of
Isn't that weird though?
sustainability.
Because I don't think that in our industry that we would think Walmart's customer thought that way. I think that the common sense in our industry is, middle America doesn't care.
But let's put it a little bit in context. If I said this is a better product because it's better for you, your family, your community, your country, and the planet. So if I said that this product
Well, that's
is
cheating. Well, who's not going to
all
say
right,
no
yeah,
to that?
it's right here. Yeah,
Yeah.
wrote it on my hand.
Yeah.
But having said that,
Do you like that idea? It's better for absolutely everything.
but you read this word sustainability. What does it mean? I don't understand it, but I understand something that's a higher value, that has a higher quality, and something that Hunter talked a little bit about when she was talking about power plants is the amount of waste that's built into the system. So you can peel apart this word sustainability like you can the word quality, and part of it is that there's waste built into the system. That's one that's costing more, and it's costing more to our, as I said, your family, and build it out from those concentric circles. So Walmart said, well, we understand that waste is expensive. So let's let's go down this journey. We're going to have sustainable products, zero waste, and be supplied by renewable energy. 3 huge, funky goals that were put out around 2000, I believe it was 2005.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
And I said, all right, we don't know how we're going to get there, but eventually we're going to bring 100,000 of our closest friends, being the people who supply our product, along on this journey. And so not only that, we're going to look at our associates and the people who are not only who are our customers, but are also the people who are helping other customers understand those products.
Yeah.
So what Walmart's doing is they say, we don't have all the answers, and we'd like you to help us figure it out along the way. We're going to be transparent. We're going to start to behave in different ways. And we hope you're going to come along on this journey. Because in the end, that's talking about value to their shoppers.
But there's a lot of people that talk like that. There's a lot of companies that talk like that. I don't think there's any shortage of talk.
No, we got lots
Right?
of that going on.
We got
Yeah,
plenty.
the talk-to-do ratio is a little unbalanced
It's
right
way
now.
out of whack, and here we are talking about it. God damn it!
Let's go.
But
down. All right.
Walmart did.
But they did something, and the thing that they did that I think is outrageous is they began this index. That's to me really doing something that I don't think it's just the beginning. But talk a little bit about the index. And
Sure.
how that works.
It's 15 questions. A couple more if you embed their packaging scorecard.
It's 15
with
questions for you if you're a vendor to Walmart.
If you're a supplier.
If you're,
You're a
yeah,
supplier.
If you're a supplier to Walmart, it covers energy, what type of energy, natural resources, people and community, are just some, 3 of the areas. And it's very specific. And you have to start reporting things like your carbon footprint, your water footprint, how you're starting to work with your suppliers. Do you know where all your products are made?
Right.
This is just the first version of this index. The thought was to start with your company's metrics, then you're going to move it to your then category, and then to product, to shelf, to shopper.
Right.
Because part of this will be communicating to the shopper in the land of confusion just what you said. What is more sustainable?
Well, and I think the index right now allows Walmart to begin to understand this process and allows their suppliers to begin to understand. It's an awareness campaign in a lot of ways.
Absolutely.
But long term, it's a transparency campaign whereas the consumer will have that absolute understanding of 2 products that they hold in their hand. That's the plan anyway, right?
That is. So
Sure.
you'll be able to, that's observable and measurable. What's the difference between these 2 products?
And there'll be a numeric rating, or is that undecided at this point?
Obviously you can make a decision with a numeric rating and to move in that direction. What will resonate with the shopper when she's making a decision at shelf? And again, talk about the power of advertising is to be able to help this communication, to eliminate this land of confusion. What is more green? I mean, that is the gazillion-dollar question right now.
Right.
This is becoming my value because it's healthier for me, for all the reasons why I want something that's more green, but what is it? Because there are all these different attributes to look at. And if I had one indicator, whether it's electronics or apparel, it'll be so much more helpful for me as a shopper to make that decision. Because all things being equal, meaning performance and price and reliability, then I'm going to, then I want to make sure that I'm buying the most green thing I can with my dollar.
Having one index to me, and am I right in that Walmart wants to make this index available to everybody, so anyone can participate in this?
They do share the index with other retailers, and they through the Sustainability Consortium. There's a lot of sharing that's happening.
Do you think that long term there would be an open source version of this index where any consumer could participate and any tiny brand could participate?
Yeah, I don't think Walmart wants to be in the indexing business. But they want to be able to provide.
So they'd be okay putting it out there.
I think what we're
I'm just thinking, having an index is really valuable. It doesn't even have to be the perfect index, but because right now there is no index. And one of the things that makes me crazy about this whole space is if you do something right, you can tick off 7 things that you did wrong.
Yes.
Right? So, hey, I've got a hybrid. Well, did you know that the batteries are actually more damaging than... Right? There is that really awkward space for people, which is whether you work in it or whether you participate in it, you have to be a hypocrite.
Hell, we're all hypocrites.
But people aren't okay.
Hypocrisy is the first step to real change.
You had to be a hypocrite if you were struggling whether to stay with the crown or whether to launch a new country called the United States. Like, there was a moment there where you were absolutely a hypocrite. And so how do we get comfortable with being a hypocrite? I have actually become quite comfortable with it, but I work in advertising.
Well, I think it has to do with point. It's your journey. It's your journey.
It's easy for us.
Well, look at Walmart. Is Walmart a sustainable company? No. Are they doing more than anyone else on the planet to drive industry in the direction of sustainability? Clearly.
They are, which is an amazing thing. I mean,
and they had a 17% bump in
Yep.
stock value last year. In the recession, they were one of 2 companies whose stock went up.
Yeah.
They've gone from one of the most hated companies, the evil empire, to now one of the most admired.
Yeah.
Is everything
Already,
that they do sustainable? No way. And this is something I think that we all need to recognize. At the moment, no one of us lives a sustainable lifestyle. We don't truly even know what
it
a
would
modern industrial sustainable world would look like. We all try to do the best that we can. And if we get off this guilt trip and get on to an exploration of where are the sweet spots, where are the opportunities in the market, where's the fun,
Yeah.
then I
Fun.
think we can all do a great deal better.
Yeah. And the first time we had talked, you guys, were I guess, discouraged by how much of a bummer sustainability was perceived as, right? It's
a boat anchor.
Yeah, I
Right?
mean, it's like, it's onerous. I have to do this efficiency thing.
Yeah.
And I got to measure all my waste. And, I mean, like, who wants a dumpster dive? And
because there's sort of that feeling that you do less bad rather than the joy of doing something good.
So Catherine and I are working now on a book talking about...
You're allowed to plug this book.
This is a...
what's our title?
Well, we don't have one yet. That's your job.
But if you see another book, number 13...
14.
14.
Climate capitalism is first, but
Okay.
this is a book that we're writing with the United Nations on radically sustainable manufacturing, where you get off of just being a little less bad into how do you do it in a way that is genuinely sustainable, that in every action that you take, you're enhancing human and natural capital.
Right.
if you think through all the stages from concept, through prototype, through first production, all the way through use and then end of life, how do you make it sustainable? Not just less bad, but in my lifetime, I hope we get to benign and then restorative. I'll be happy if it's benign.
Just to bring this back to marketing, Walmart, business is good, the brand better than ever. And I don't think there's even that much awareness of what they're doing. So, it's beginning to get out there. What is the brand bump? Do you have any numbers on that? What are they seeing in terms of perception change?
I don't have those specific numbers, but there's a couple of external surveys that have seen a huge brand bump.
Because it seemed like when I first saw this begin with Walmart, I thought it was a brilliant strategy for the corner they were backed into by Target. Target, took this design idea and the democratization of design. Great place to be if you're a value player.
Design.
Affordable design. And Walmart seemed trapped. I mean, it was kind of interesting. And then as they went into this area, it was such a brilliant flanking move because in the end, this is design. There's no better design, and there is no sustainability without brilliant design.
Absolutely.
The two, they're one and the same.
It's an interesting, hearkening back to some of Walmart's beginnings. Sam Walton said, incrementalism is innovation's worst enemy. We don't want continuous improvement, we want radical change.
He said that?
He said that. And this is what Walmart has done, is to redefine this entire space, and now everybody's chasing them.
Yeah. And now, with things like what they did with their trucking fleet, it's cheaper for them to go to market. Like, not only did they make a step that was positive for everybody, but it's a huge competitive
Well,
advantage.
trust me,
It's
Walmart is not
expensive.
doing this out of the goodness of their heart.
Waste
they
is
are.
expensive.
Neither are the Chinese.
That's
Yeah.
right. They are making money on every measure that they take. For example, they put LED lights in their refrigerator cabinets. And then they put motion detectors so that they're not even turned on if there's nobody shopping there.
Yeah.
So as you walk up to the cabinet, boink, the lights go on. The kids love it. Kids run up, boink. Where the kids are, the parents are. Walmart sells more stuff.
I love it too. I mean, I go over to them and they're blinking, and it's kind of
It's cool.
fascinating. It's cool. It's fun. So it's a good example of how it can be cool.
And
fun.
it cuts their electricity use 75% or more.
But if they did a commercial that was like blinky lights, you know, it would be fun to do that. I don't know if that's as big a deal if you're a marketer and you're watching this and you're thinking about what can I do. Yeah, you can encourage your clients to do these things. You can help show them the path into this area. But what's most powerful is if you're in marketing, you're a designer. And you know, we had a discussion last week about what is design and how many people are designers. In marketing, we're all designers. Designing businesses. What Walmart's doing is they're redesigning their business in a way that makes the business itself do the good work that then carries the good reputation.
Precisely.
They won't need a lot of ads about that.
Bad for your business, good for theirs.
It's bad for our business if we don't learn how to make those kinds of companies. Right? If we don't learn if we don't understand the area and then and then help our clients create structures that can do this very thing, then it's bad for our business.
I think a lot of the challenge here is the mental model that you carry in your head. The moment that you conceive of a thing, a process, a program, you've committed 80 to 90% of the lifetime cost, environmental and economic. So what's going on in your head is critically important. We all have mental models about how the world works.
Yeah.
All models are wrong. Some are useful. If you look at the maps...
I like that. All models are wrong and some are useful.
If you look at the maps that the early explorers in California, the early Spaniards, carried, given to them by the government of Spain, the official map of that part of the world,
Yeah.
California was an island. And the first guys over the Sierra Mountains carried boats because they thought they were going to find a beach.
Yeah.
Well, they found a lot of sand.
Yeah.
Every mental model that we carry in our heads is wrong in some way or other. And the challenge for us as this young human species is to redesign how we make and deliver everything, using approaches that work the way nature works. Nature runs on sunlight, not big flows of fossil energy.
Yeah.
Nature shops locally. Nature makes everything near to something that's alive at room temperature.
So do you think the natural model is wrong? No, the natural model might be right.
The natural
experiments.
model is continuing. Yeah,
It always evolves.
it's continually
Yeah.
failures are fossils.
And also, even obviously in nature, the environment's constantly shifting as well. So nature
There's-
shifts its model.
There's variation and there's adaptation to variation. And I think that's an important lesson that we also learn from nature. And I think from a design perspective, I mean, somehow we design statically, we freeze the design and run. And in nature, there's always adaptation that's happening. And there's a lot that we can learn in this next industrial revolution, the third industrial revolution, from nature. What's left of it.
Accounting is one of the just super blunt tools that we
Counting
use.
or
Accounting.
accounting?
The way we account for things is just archaic. And I think that I just find it really destructive. It never gives you a very good picture.
There's a seriously flawed mental model. Our economic system counts the throughput in the economy of stuff and money. And there's nothing wrong with stuff or money, but
Right.
the speed with which it goes through the economy tells you nothing. So if a divorcing cancer patient gets in a car wreck, she has added to the GNP, gross
Right.
national
You're
product.
right.
Is she any better off?
Right.
Clearly
No.
no.
Right.
The whole way in which we do accounting is daft. It's not even good for companies. It's driving
No, it's
companies
bad.
to ruin economically, financially. Last fall, the president of France announced a study, 2-year study, just completed by the Nobel economist Joseph Stiglitz, to see if France could shift how it does accounting from gross national product to a concept called gross national happiness, which was introduced some years back by the government of Bhutan. And it's not happiness as in la la la, but are you better off? And are you counting all forms of capital, not just manufactured and financial, but also human and natural? And if you are destroying human and natural capital in order to get more money and stuff, are you getting better off? Only in the short term, not in the long term, and it is fundamentally unsustainable.
Well, the other aspects of it is I think we're not honoring, and I apologize for those people who don't love thermodynamics as much as I do.
Me.
But we live in a closed system, and our model that Hunter's talking about is still primarily based on this take, make, use, waste. That we don't really account for the true cost of take. We've got the make down pretty well. I think we got the use for most part, unless there's some hazards and some other things that are dangerous involved with the make. But definitely at the end of life, we don't really think about that. It goes away. Well, our planet's crowded enough that away doesn't exist anymore, and that we're all breathing, eating, etc. our ways. So, in our book, what we're trying to do is think about a model that goes from, how do we borrow, whether it's reusing what's already out there or come into a system where we're not taking materials, but we're borrowing them. We're still going to make cool things. We're still going to use cool things because we're humans. We like the making and using part. Yeah. And then we're going to figure out a way to return it. So we have this really simple, nice way of keeping it closed where things belong where they should or they return to the environment. So we're not going to have this type of impact. So of course we're going to have...
The way we look at it is it's how we look at resources, right?
Yeah, that's part of it.
But I hate this word human resources. Like we had a human resources department here, and we finally changed it, years ago. And then
it's about people.
Yeah, I mean, like when
it's
you start thinking about people as resources, but it shows that accounting mentality that there is a raw material, and then you access that raw material as cheaply as possible, and those accounting principles, although they work on paper, they're really ultimately very destructive, and all of us have these two lives. Well, not all of us, but many of us, where we live in a corporation, we work in a corporation, and we live in the real world. We live outside of that, and we sometimes suffer from the decisions that we make in the corporation. And those decisions in the corporation are governed by this not complete ability to account for what the corporation does, because there isn't a model, there isn't a tool.
It's one of the reasons that when a company makes a decision to commit to becoming more sustainable, they get this enormous upwelling of productivity in their people. Our mental model is that increased labor productivity is the holy grail of prosperity, as if the idea is to have one of us doing all the work and everybody else out of work.
Yeah.
But if what you want is increased productivity, commit to being more sustainable and free your people to innovate, and that's where you start getting these 6 to 16% increases in labor productivity by treating people as people, not as a number.
Yeah. I still, that labor productivity, it just freaks me out a little bit.
For the first time with these companies, what they're doing at work is what they want for their community.
Yeah.
It begins to bring them together as whole human beings. And that's where you get this just unleashing of innovation and creativity and productivity, all the things that the companies say they want more of.
Right.
And we now have, there are, in the last 2 or 3 years, 18 separate studies from the wild-eyed environmentalists at places like Goldman Sachs and McKinsey.
They're kooky.
Showing that the companies that are the leaders in environment, social, and good governance policy have, take your pick, 25% higher stock value, fastest growing stock value, are well protected from value erosion, are outperforming the general market, have market capitalization averaging $650 million higher than their competitors. The companies that are doing it because it's the right thing are now the ones that are prospering.
So there's so much data out there saying, hey, this works. right? It's not kooky. It's not really fringe.
It's just
even.
better business.
It's pretty
No,
good
it's
business.
Good, it's strategic. You're eliminating waste.
So why do people still react so negatively to it?
Well, I think you've talked
Our
about
fault.
it.
Our fault. We have portrayed it as we're all going to die.
Yeah.
And it's going to cost you more. And here I think is where your industry can do the world a huge favor. By portraying sustainability as the next opportunity, as fun, as vastly more desirable, as better business. Because all of that is true. Mm-hmm. And yet, every time you see a green ad, it's, oh, you're giving something up. Oh, it costs more. It's going to hurt me.
It looks different.
I got to sacrifice. Bullshit. Let's create this incredible opportunity to solve all the world's problems and make money.
I can't believe you're blaming advertisers.
I just happen to have one in my gun sights.
Yeah, no, you do. No,
But part of it, no one really likes to change. No one likes to change. You think about it. We still have a lot of the same reinforcements, from the last industrial revolution that make people successful. And if that's what made me successful yesterday, why am I going to go down this scary new path?
Yeah.
And we have to show that it's not scary. It's eliminating waste. It's creating fun and innovation. Oh, and by the way, it's going to make you more resilient in the drivers that are coming. Mm-hmm. And that's a great message. And it says, all right, it's not that scary. Look, if Walmart, the world's largest corporation, can do it, and your reason why not is? So,
yeah.
And I think that that's a big part of it. We're still comfortable. We're comfortable with the way things are. Somebody asked me, when will the economy go back to the way it used to be? I'm like, huh?
It ain't gonna.
Yeah. That's
Sorry,
not gonna
it ain't gonna.
But that's what we're waiting for.
Yeah.
Instead of how will I be successful in this new economy?
Yeah.
That's the right question.
Yeah. But so how much do you blame politicians then? You blame yourself, you blame me.
I am utterly disgusted these days with politicians of both stripes. They are...
Are there two different kinds? I didn't even
Tall ones
realize
and short
that.
ones.
Yeah.
I thought we only had the one kind. All right.
Yeah, we do seem to these
Yeah.
days. Well, no, there are politicians with a backbone and those without. Personally,
Red and blue.
I think the red is doing rather well these days because they have a point of view, and goddammit, they're going to stick to it. They're going to rule with a 47-seat majority. The blue ones? I'm sorry. The red ones? Hey, I stole it. I'm going to drive it.
But why wouldn't you think that the Republicans would be most excited about the opportunity economically?
And the good ones are.
Yeah.
I'll bet you Lee Scott's not a Democrat.
And also the most concerned about China sprinting away with the prize.
Jim Woolsey used to run the CIA, most assuredly not a liberal.
Yeah.
Drives a plug-in hybrid car that he fuels off solar panels on his roof. He makes his own biofuel. He has a bumper sticker on the back of his car that says, Osama bin Laden hates my car. He sees this as a national security issue, and I think he's right.
I think he's right, too. And remember last time we met, we were talking about the idea of here you've got sustainable energy. Let's just talk about solar and wind, right? Blows through the fields, rains down on the earth, and to me it should be redneck power, right? Like if you think about something that and that's why you ought to be on Oprah, and you ought to be talking about redneck power.
Sign me up.
And
I'll do it.
Oprah, if you're watching, I know you watch. We got to get Hunter on. You need a sustainability person. You got doctors. You got all this other stuff. I think Hunter's your
redneck power, lad. You just
power.
Branded me.
Yeah.
Well,
I like that.
So the idea of redneck power, though, where it's like, how could you not love the idea of this stuff that's free? That when you're outside, it's just coming down on you, and it's blowing through your hair, and you can capture it.
Well, in fact, farmers and ranchers are going to renewable energy at a great rate.
Faster than the rest of us.
They recognize you stick windmills up in your pasture, the cows are perfectly happy, and you get paid a lease.
Yeah.
What's not to like?
Right.
That's why states like Iowa are going to wind power, biofuels, solar power. It's, if anything, it's the liberals on the coasts that are the problem.
Really?
It's a sense of independence when you can generate your own power.
It's amazing, like the do-it-yourself revolution, right? Like Home Depot and they captured that, and it was really cool to fix your own sink or put in your own kitchen and all that. Like, where's that moment where it's really cool to put in your own solar? And I guess the other question that I had that's just
it's
rattling...
increasingly here. Part of the problem has been the upfront cost. If you're a utility and you want to build a nuke, you get cheap federal money to pay for it. You're in my tax dollars.
Right.
If you're and you want to put solar, last we checked, want to put solar on your roof, you're going to pay MasterCard interest rates up front. Sonoma County,
but in reality,
more or less rural county.
It's my show.
Put in place.
You can't just tell me to shut up.
Yes, I can. I'm fearless. Put in place a financing program whereby the county floated a bond. Citizens can go get their money, install efficiency, install solar. In the last year, Sonoma has had an 8.4% increase in the construction trades, where neighboring Napa County, which does not yet have this program, had a 3% drop. If we want jobs, if we want prosperity in our communities, it's redneck power.
Yeah. Because even if you decide to do it yourself, you're gonna have to. It's just like anything at Home Depot. If you decide to do it yourself, eventually you got to call a contractor because you're like, I'm in over my head. I can't get.
And
this.
that contractor is not in China. You're not going to put your house on a boat, send it to China, so you can fix it up.
Not
if
yet.
you're doing new construction,
that would be a lot of externalized
costs. This is where it gets interesting. And what we did is new construction. The economics become a lot different. People don't ask, well, what's my return on investment for my granite countertops?
But they actually know.
But they'll know.
Yeah.
They'll say, well, my in-laws, well, no.
No, I mean, all that stuff is like if you put in a pool, it's this much to your,
right, but
home
when
sale
you're building
cost.
a house, when you're building, not for resale, but when you're building the granite countertops, the cool crown molding, bumping up that carpeting. That's all stuff you can do afterwards, but putting renewable energy into the bones of your house and then putting it into your construction costs and putting it amortizing over a 30-year fixed mortgage, you're hedging your utilities.
You're cutting your utilities.
Cutting it, and not only that, but you're saying, all right, at today's prices, because chances are utility prices are going up over that 30-year fixed mortgage.
Yeah.
And you're putting it in.
Chances are, you think?
Chances are. I'll take that bet. But when you actually do it up front in new construction, over those 30 years, you can put in your granite countertop. Yeah, but it's much harder then to put in a geothermal or a solar panel. But when you're. But
if we had a national program that if you put in solar panels and we had a smart grid as part of that, I mean, we all can be part of energy production, the energy economy. We can be selling energy back to the.
Europe's going to this. There is a proposal for a pan-European smart grid. Big wind off Denmark, Germany, wave off Scotland, big solar across North Africa, biomass in Southern Europe, and distributed generation everywhere.
Yeah.
Smart houses, smart cars. The batteries in the cars then become the storage for the whole system, and away you go. Yeah. And it will drive jobs, it will drive prosperity, it will drive innovation, and it will drive competitiveness.
And Is there any program for a smart grid in the U.S. right now? Is the
so-called smart grids in the U.S. are pretty dumb. They're using 90s technologies. Here in Boulder, the utility's talking about a smart grid using 1990s smart meters. They're pretty dumb.
Yeah,
we could do a great deal better. One of my favorite entrepreneurs, young man named Shai Agassi, has an outfit in California called Better Place. In Denmark and in Israel, then in Hawaii, and maybe in the north of California.
I like how you say Hawaii.
I spent some time there.
Yeah.
He is buying electric cars from Renault,
right,
which he will sell at a reasonably cheap price point, and refuel in his refueling stations, just like a mobile phone. His business model is the refueling. You drive your car in the same amount of time it takes you to put petrol in your car, a little robot arm comes out, grabs the battery, puts a new one, which he has charged renewably, in, away you go, and you're completely off oil.
Yeah.
Denmark in 2012.
That's where the business opportunity, when you describe that situation, is looking through the current system and saying, who wants what I don't want? Where can I make some money off of that? And then saying, where is my biggest impact? And where can I have that? You know, when I'm looking at my business model, or what we call is like a value chain ecosystem, and saying, you know, I bet I can make some money off of that. And just start to think through that. Who wants what you don't want? There's a great company here in Colorado, Prologis, that has hot, flat roofs. They're distribution centers. I think they're the world's largest owners of distribution centers. You know, we make the stuff, we stick it in a distribution center before we sell it. We won't talk about that model to begin with, but, you know, they own a lot of hot, flat roofs. Yeah, I said, hot, flat roofs. I bet the utility would love to generate some electricity up there. But again, saying who wants what we don't want, because nobody likes a hot distribution center, especially when you got something that needs to be maintained at a constant temperature.
What's the is there a corollary to Moore's law in solar or sustainable energy?
There are people who are arguing that yes, there is. In fact, Shai Agassiz is arguing that Moore's law will obtain in solar panels.
It's the same law.
Essentially the same law, yeah.
Oh, really? Okay.
We'll see.
Yeah. It'd be nice to know, you know, because I think once people understood Moore's law, I guess there were people that were skeptical.
Yeah.
But you were able to put a lot of financial bets against it, I think.
Mm-hmm. Well, again, clean tech is one of the fastest growing markets on the planet. And it's a great place to be putting your bets right now.
So our roof, we've got a giant flat roof.
A nice, flat,
really
hot
flat roof.
Flat, hot roof.
In Colorado, you know, it can be hot on all 300 days of sunshine.
Yeah.
That's some good stuff up there.
But we don't own the roof. Mm-hmm. So what do we do?
You cozy up with your landlord and say, you know, you just there's money wasting up there.
That would be...
Do a green lease. A lot of
Yep.
businesses that lease space, that want the space to be greened, work together with their landlord to put in place a mutually beneficial lease where perhaps they will invest in greening the building, but then over a long period of time they get a lower rent.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I got to imagine that we could power this whole place. I mean, we have a lot of
You
roof.
could power this whole place.
Yeah, we could power probably all of Gun Barrel.
And you could increase the productivity of your workforce.
We could have them install it.
Now, if you put in, there's a gal just down the road, Nancy Clanton, lighting engineer,
Yeah.
probably the best in the country. If she came in and daylit this entire space, the light would become magical.
Yeah.
And when people can see better,
that would be nice.
they work better.
We're just not allowed to make holes in the roof. But Jared Paulus is he owns the building. And he's, so,
All right.
Jared,
All right.
let's do it. Let's do
Let's
this
do it,
roof.
lad. You
Just a
talking
little
about this stuff.
Daylighting,
Come
a
on.
few light pipes.
Jared
yeah,
is
some
a
solar
congressman
panels.
in this district, so...
Jared's a pretty good congressman.
Seems
but,
like a win-win to me.
Come on, Jared, you can make more money off this place.
Yeah. So one of the questions tweeted in, can you describe greenwashing versus something actually sustainable? Or
Greenwashing is good.
Huh.
I
And
knew
that-
you'd say that. I knew it.
All right. Well,
And
this
that
could get
is-
festive. All
Yeah.
right.
That is, hypocrisy is the first step to
Yeah.
real change. General Electric, Ecomagination, they roll this out.
Anything you do is going to have an element of greenwashing. If
All
someone
GE
if
did-
someone can't say you're greenwashing, you must be doing nothing.
No, I see. This is where I differ. I think true greenwashing. There is
lying.
Oh,
is
true
an element-
true
All
greenwashing.
right.
Is
When
knowing
really-
you're
I'm going
lying.
to define it. The definition of greenwashing. People get splattered as greenwashing pretty easily. You know,
Everyone.
There's so many dimensions when you're trying to do the right thing. You're like, oh, I didn't think about fill in the blank, and then you get labeled as greenwashing when you tried to do the right thing. And I don't think that's greenwashing. I think that's maybe you didn't do your homework before the test. That's not called cheating on the test. But I think there's some real cheating on the test, and I call that greenwashing.
Or the test changes.
Well, then
The
I
stuff
think-
is not wholly
no,
predictable.
it's not. Like, the green messages 5 years ago, we didn't know about fill in the blank. And I think for greenwashing, to say it's really greenwashing is that you're misleading when you're doing something just a little bit better and you're still pretty bad.
I still think it's a good thing. Because when you step up and you say, I am a little bit better, and the world looks at you and says, and you're a little bit better how? And you have to defend it. And some other part of the world looks at you and goes, oh, cool, thank you. You go, oh, I like that. General Electric badged as green products they were already making. and called it eco-imagination.
They also put a huge investment into those businesses.
Once they began to realize the value they were gaining from their pure greenwashing.
But you think they started with greenwashing?
Yeah, when
The
they
first
started
step-
out,
the first step
it
was
purely
greenwashing?
greenwashing.
I don't
And
know.
How much does it cost to buy off someone like yourself? If I was a company and I said, "Hey, I want you to work on project X."
I tell you what, I'm easy, but I am not cheap.
Not cheap. So I'm Exxon and I want you to work on something.
I'd be
What-
happy to work with Exxon.
I've
because
actually worked with Exxon.
I actually haven't.
Yeah, you were my boss when I worked on that project, so I think
Were
you-
we?
Yeah.
Okay, I worked with Exxon. Sorry. I thought we were working with Shell.
Because
did
I've
that
given
too.
Catherine a hard time before because she'll be getting paid by somebody and I'll be like, I'm not going to listen to you because you're getting paid by them.
I will take anybody's money, what they cannot buy, because I don't take it, it goes to natural capitalism. What they cannot buy is my critical analysis of where they can do better, because that's what the planet's depending on. It's depending on people like us to be honest with a company and to say, as I said to you, your industry's fucking up.
But do you ever worry that
Somebody will think I'm bought.
No, I don't think that you're in
Worried
any
about-
danger
I think it's
of that
authenticity.
at all.
You know, it's the same thing going back
You're
to
extremely
greenwashing.
authentic.
Yeah, it's authentic. Are they willing to be transparent? Yeah. If they're authentic and transparent, as Hunter said, I've worked with Shell. I did a small workshop with Exxon when they were working on energy efficiency at the refineries. All right, they were authentic about it.
I've
And
worked
in
with
their-
Oak Ridge. Natural Capitalism did a consulting gig at the nuclear weapons laboratory, and the first thing they said when our guys walked in is, "Do you know what we do?" But if I can help the worst get on the path to becoming better, hell, I'll do it.
Would you ever worry that they'll use your name and that association to greenwash? I mean, just
Again,
aligning.
greenwashing is good.
So you like greenwashing. So then there's no conflict
Well,
there.
I was going to say, Hunter,
but
there
I do insist.
That's real convenient.
You're right. I do insist that a client be serious about being on the path.
then that's not greenwashing if they're serious about being in the path. Because then
But also,
they're not going to intentionally be misleading.
Oh, they may be in the short run.
They also
And
could
I'll
lie
give
to
them
you.
hell. Yeah, they do.
Yeah.
They do. And I'll give them hell for it if I catch them. And we have fired clients over that.
Yeah.
And then taken them back in the particular instance where they realized that what they had done was actually hurting their business, and they came back to get on the path again.
Right.
I know darn well I'm not perfect. I drive a fossil-fueled car.
Fast one now.
A fast one. I've got
What do you drive?
a Porsche
Really?
Boxster
I would not have made that call.
and an
I like
F-250 pickup truck to
Oh,
haul
my-
my horse
yeah.
trailer, and
Yeah.
I'm not perfect. Why should I demand that a client be, so long as the client is serious about trying to understand this realm, capture the business opportunities, make more money thereby, and by doing that, make the world a better place.
So if you were on Oprah, which I think is going to happen
All right.
because she watches the show, what would be your first step? What would you talk about with people?
Well, it depends
How would
what she asked me, but...
No, she gives you a little space. You actually
Oh,
have
hell.
your own. I'm seeing you get your own show, and what
We're
would you, how
confronted
would you,
by
how would you
insurmountable
wanna, How would you want to
opportunities.
talk to people?
I think I'd want to talk to small businesses. That's half the economy, and underserved. It's 90% of the non-governmental employers in this country and even more in other countries, and incredible opportunities to cut their costs,
Yeah.
enhance their profitability, and implement sustainability.
And actually build their businesses around this. I mean, to your point about a home, you have a chance to build that home around the coming reality, the environment that you'll be living in. And I think small businesses, what's really exciting there is they're coming from the fringes. They actually can build the businesses that take down larger businesses. When you're working with really big companies, they've got a lot of legacy to deal with, and you're trying to. Well, it's both, but I actually think the little ones are more fun too.
They are,
because
they
the
can
big
be more
ones,
nimble.
the big ones, you're trying to. Yeah, I mean they can do amazing things. A Walmart does something and it instantly changes everything.
Yes.
But the little ones can actually make themselves so that they're designed to destroy the larger ones, you know, and that's kind of exciting, and you know, and so I like that idea. I like the coming from the fringes.
We've got a tool that we're just completing called Solutions at the Speed of Business that help small business people implement more sustainable procedures more profitably. And the opportunities are just mind-boggling. A real estate company down in Florida that pulled out a caulk gun, I mean, we're talking rocket science here, cut their electricity costs $7,900 the first year. That's money in their pocket.
Yeah.
And you just, industry
How do
after
I access
industry
that?
after industry, www.natcapsolutions.org, NATCAP solutions.org.
And I can go to the site. There's free advice there.
You can go to the site, and there's free advice there. We'll tell you how to improve the lighting in your small business.
We need that.
Heating, ventilating, air conditioning, purchasing, transportation. There are a whole set of modules. It's a web-based learning tool, flash animation, voice-over, video, all the cool stuff.
Yeah.
That enables a small business person who could not afford to hire me, because I am not cheap, to get the same knowledge that I would deliver to a company like Walmart or Shell.
But if I was going to hire you, and I am a big company,
www.natcapsolutions.org.
same one. I can go to the same site. All right.
We
so if
work
you're out
with
there,
companies around the world on how to implement this stuff.
Yeah.
And Catherine and I love to play together, eh?
We do. We're doing a lot of work with Walmart suppliers right now with a company I formed with a friend, Mark Major. It's Clear Green Advisors.
Because what Walmart's doing is creating a whole industry for you.
Folks like
to
create significant change and make the world a better place. Okay, I'm in.
Yeah, it seems like a good deal.
It's a good deal right now, and it's a lot of fun because to see the change and to see the opportunities that Hunter's talked about, small businesses, and there are a lot of small Walmart suppliers, that are really going,
They have no idea what's going on.
What does this mean to my business? So I'm saying, all right, take a deep breath. You've done this before. You've put in quality management programs. We eliminated waste through those activities. Think about this as just expanding the system. Oh, okay, we can do this. All right.
We can do this.
You think about this innovation that's going to come out of the Walmart Sustainability Index, and it's almost sort of like a retail revolution that I think can happen.
But if I'm a supplier for Walmart or just a supplier in general, I can kind of come to you and I can get the inside track, right?
I don't know if it's the inside
Let's just
track.
say
It's
it
the
is.
inside
Let's say
track.
it is.
It's inside.
Why does she refuse to sell herself?
Because she's authentic.
Because she's authentic. Anyway,
And she's good.
so I can go to you though, and you can help me through this process because I have no idea.
I mean, it's
how to
not.
do this.
I mean, in a way, it's a labyrinth. But then we can unpack it and say, here's your clear path that makes sense for you and your business and your customers. And in the end, you're going to be a better company for it. Because I still believe waste is expensive, variation's expensive in any form.
Yeah.
So you can call it sustainability. I call it variation. All right, I can understand that. I don't understand this funky sustainability thing. But I understand when it's variation and waste. Let's get rid of it and make some fun along the way. Let's delight our customers. Oh, right. We called that quality in the 80s and 90s. Let's just delight them.
Yeah.
And then we're going to have a true revolution. Was it one that people can shoot?
Well, I think we're out of time. It was a really good show. I'm glad you guys came on. Thanks so much.
Thanks for having us.
Yeah. So go to
cleargreenadvisors.com.
cleargreenadvisors.com or
www.natcapsolutions.org.
or FearLessQA, I guess. So we'll see you next week. Thanks.
Let's shoot the shit. Yeah. Come on, let's shoot the shit.
Yeah, he goes back. Oh, and I'll be with the show.
Family masturbate.